And welcome to our podcast, Off Topic with Tim and Matt, the show where we always go off topic. Very special show today. We are not quite live, but we are at Townsend Park for the opening day of the flag football season. It's 5-on-5 flag and 7-on-7 touch. We got some interviews coming up in regards to that to explain that a little bit more. This is home to me with football.
Yeah.
I first started getting involved in football when my kids started playing, over 10 years ago. And Townsend may not be the most aesthetically pleasing place in the world. Well, it is. You got the mounds, but it's home to me. It'll always be home to me. I'm very happy to be here.
This is enemy territory to me.
That's right.
Long-time Abbotsford Falcons. But I've always felt welcome here. And that's one of the things that I've really liked about the Chilliwack Giants is they're very welcoming to the other clubs. We've had some very good rivalries over the years. A beautiful landscape, great concession. Try the poutine, it's awesome.
The plywood tower, we'll get a shot of it. It's blue on this. It's got blue siding on the outside. We'll get a shot of it later.
Yeah.
It's plywood, metal, wood on the inside, and it's you and I have had some great times.
Great times. We do our Friday Night Lights show from there, and it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun.
So to get started, we're going to bring in Colin Boyd, who's president of the Chilliwack Giants, and he's going to talk about today, and it's going to be just great. All right, here we are, Chilliwack Giants president, Colin Boyd.
That's me.
On the opening day of flag football. Colin, how are things looking so far?
Fabulous. Look at it. Look at the sunshine. Look at all the people playing football. This is a great, really good day. Things turned out very well. A lot of volunteers setting things up.
Perfect. Now, I understand you got 100 extra kids this year compared to last year.
Yeah.
So how do you account for all those extra kids?
A good portion of it is the group of older fellows you see behind us, the 7-on-7 touch game. So we brought a lot of the high school kids back into the fold under the community umbrella, which is great.
Oh, nice.
That's about 60 kids to our registration that we didn't have last year.
Wow.
And it's a great program, get all the way up to U19. So it's
nice.
So,
good day.
So
how many kids per team on the 7-on-7? How many kids per team? Like how many teams do you get out of those 60 kids that you brought here?
Yeah, 5 different groups, younger and older groups, and all kinds of different teams that coaches have put together and brought out to compete.
Well, yeah, and that's typically what I've seen with the 7-on-7 is the schools will get a group together and then enter it in the community league because it gives it. And now 7-on-7 is mostly passing, defending.
That's
no rush, no lines, no linebackers hitting. It's just all touch.
Exactly.
So you're working on those more dynamic skills.
For sure. Skill position stuff. It's really a glorified portion of practice. If you look at a lot of coaches' practice plans, there's the 7-on-7 portion. And that's
okay. So give me some background. Where does 7-on-7 come from?
Just that from football coaches can make anything competitive. So they want to get that portion of practice, get the skilled players out competing like they do in their own practices, and then they got them competing against other teams now. So,
oh, okay. So just literally just came out of practice.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long has it been around?
As far as organized leagues, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
it's kind of been developing over the last 5-10 years.
Oh, okay.
So spring camp down in the warmer states, you're talking Texas, California, Florida, and whatnot. It's been around a lot longer,
right,
than up here, and it was because the heat of the spring in the early summer, you don't want your O linemen out there, right? You don't need them doing that. You need them in the gym working out, working on strength and conditioning, right? Here you want to work on those soft skills like the catching, the passing, the coverage, and whatnot. So they eliminated that part, and they were doing this, like you said, at practice. But then, coaches start challenging each other, right? So organizational-wise, I'd have to Google it to find out. But just the doing it at practice has been forever.
Oh,
really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, I'm curious about something. Out of, say, the 40, so you get 60 from the 7-on-7, which leaves another 40. The extra 40, how many of those are girls? Off the top of your head.
Of the, I couldn't say the extra 40, but in total, we're pushing 5-10% of our registration.
Now I'm curious about something, and I've been curious about this for a while. How much of an influence did Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce influence those girls? It's a good question. It's a fair question, right?
Yeah. At the younger ages, we definitely have a lot more young ladies. I'll put a survey question in.
No, perfect. I'm really curious. I'm really curious.
We'll send out a survey.
Well, because all that season, Taylor's going to all the games, and all these young women want to go to the football games. They're watching football games with their dads, and I'm just curious if some of them are like, you know what, I bet boys can do this, I can do better. And I got 2 older sisters.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm talking about. So I'm just curious, if Taylor had any influence on,
Well, not only that, but the NFL is pushing ladies in flag football hard all across high schools in the States. We were in Las Vegas at the Pro Bowl last year, and there was all ladies leagues competing.
Nice.
As well. We were playing in a co-ed international division, and a lot of females there too.
You can't stop growing, no matter what. You cannot. I don't care what sport it is. You can't stop growing.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Colin, you're busy today. We're going to say thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. You're welcome. We'll be seeing you.
See you, Colin.
Nice
to see you.
Good to see you again.
And congratulations on an amazing event, day one. I mean, I had to park my Nissan Micra in the bus only section because there's no other parking around.
Hey, it takes the whole league, the VCFL out here, all the other organizations from around the valley. We're doing a lot of great things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
fellas.
man.
Appreciate
Appreciate it.
All right, go back to work.
I will.
Go. Thank you, Colin. That was wonderful. Let's take a little bit of a detour. NFL draft. You want to talk NFL draft a bit?
NFL draft is coming up on Thursday. It's pretty exciting. There's I don't know if you read a lot of stuff about the draft, but
There's some drama. There's a little bit of a drama after the first round pick.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a little bit of drama. Think in the top 5 picks.
Yes.
So right away we know the Bears are going to take Caleb Williams. It's just a for sure thing. The next 2 picks are Washington and New England, and they both need quarterbacks. But it's you got Daniels and May, Drake May and Jaden Daniels are the next 2 that should go.
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy, he's moving up.
Well, he's moving up in the rankings, but here's where it gets tricky. So you don't know who Washington's going to take. Some people are saying May, some people are saying Daniels. New England's going to take the next.
Yeah.
Of the 3, right?
Yeah.
And this is me being Nostradamus here and predicting things.
Okay.
But where it gets tricky is on 4 is Arizona. They don't need a quarterback, but there's 4 quarterbacks that could go in the first 4 picks. J.J. McCarty being the 4th, right? If Arizona is in love with Marvin Harrison Jr.,
the wide receiver from Ohio,
who's the son of Marvin Harrison, who was Peyton Manning's go-to guy for years and years and years with the Indianapolis Colts. And this guy's a generational talent. He's just phenomenal. He's got 4 inches on everybody else. He can jump probably over top of me. He's just a phenomenal talent. And then you've got another receiver, Malik Neighbors, who's not as big, but the speed that he has and his route running ability is phenomenal. So there you got these 2 receivers that are generational talents. Like they're just going to be superstars. You know they are.
And Marvin Harrison Jr. has said he wants to go to Arizona.
Yes.
He's gone on the record like, I want Arizona.
So
what Arizona wants may not connect with that, but we're not going to find out on Thursday.
We're going to find out on Thursday. But see, the 4th quarterback, there's about 4 or 5 teams that want that 4th quarterback. So they're throwing packages at Arizona for trade. And if they say, no, we're going to take Harrison, the Chargers are number 5. And this is where I'm excited about because they're getting the same offers.
Right.
So they're either going to get a game-changing receiver at 5, or they're going to trade back and get a lot of extra picks.
Yeah.
Chargers went through a big changeover. They got the new head coach in Jim Harbaugh. They got a new GM, and they've got a lot of spots to fill on the roster. So the interesting one is Minnesota, who let Kirk Cousins go to Atlanta and don't have a quarterback, have 2 picks in the first round, number 11 and number 23. So the idea is that they're going to trade those 2 to the Chargers for the 5th pick to get McCarty, and the Chargers now get 11 and 23. This is a very deep draft for wide receivers, so you're going to see a lot of talent come out in the wide receiver market.
Pardon me. Go ahead.
But they've got a tight end out of Georgia named Brock Bowers.
Very good.
Very good.
Very
They're
good.
saying better than Kelsey, better than Gronkowski.
Well,
better
hang
than
on.
Kittle.
No one.
Kelsey.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Kelsey. He went 4th round.
Yes.
So he did not become the tight end that he was right out of the starting gate. He developed, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
So this guy, but there's a lot of positives to this guy.
Oh, of course.
He can block. He can catch. His route running's immaculate. He can play out of the slot. There's so much to this guy that the Chargers like him.
Yeah.
And they could take him at 11 and then get a receiver because it's a deep receiver draft at 23. So
but
the draft,
Chicago's got 2 picks.
9. They
1
pick
and 9.
at 9. 1 and 9.
Okay.
So you think you're going to take the quarterback at 1, but I think they're looking at O-line at 9.
You got to protect the quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Matt Paisley's not here today, and he's the O-line factory. If you can't protect your quarterback, I don't care who he is.
Yeah.
You can't do anything when you're constantly getting knocked down and on the DL.
Yeah.
I think Chicago's crazy to go with Caleb Williams, quite frankly, because the guy's a head case.
Well,
and if it was me, I would trade for like the number 3 pick for the first pick and get a bunch of more picks.
Yeah.
And go that way and get
there
the non-head case quarterback. The guy, he just sounds like a nut job, personally.
But
that's me.
See,
that's just me.
And that's the thing. They've spent the last 4 months talking to these guys.
Yeah, I know.
So you're spending time with these guys and getting a development. And now the thinking was that Chicago was going to do that, trade out of there and take one of the other quarterbacks at a later spot, or keep Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But after they met with them, they had dinner with them, they worked them out and everything. They're going. We're all in on this kid.
All right.
So
they know more than I do.
And we're only getting what the reporters want us to know. I mean, have you had dinner with Caleb Williams to realize that, And a lot of the stuff that's coming out is Caleb Williams' dad.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams' dad. You
can ban someone from a stadium pretty easily.
So the draft is Thursday night. Starts at 4 p.m. I think the first 10 picks are going to be very, very interesting.
Right.
And
now the Seahawks, because we're in West Coast country, go 16th.
16th, yes.
And Michael Penix Jr., you and I have talked about this. They need a quarterback. And you and I are both get Michael Penix Jr.
Yes.
And then get, who's our boy from Abbotsford?
Chase
Claypool.
Yeah.
And then get that tandem. And we'll see. There's a little, like you said, there's a lot of wide receivers that doesn't play well for Chase because some kid out of college.
Yeah, but a lot of
cheaper
teams,
than.
Like we talked about last week, you got the 3 teams. You got Seattle, you got Buffalo, and you got Chargers.
That need wide receivers.
That need wide receivers, but you can't just stock up on rookie talent.
No.
And expect to compete.
Yeah.
You got to have that veteran presence, and Chase is a veteran. I mean, he's 4 years in the league now, right? He's got
bounced around a bit. So.
Yeah, but he's got that mentality, so that he knows what it takes to be successful.
Okay.
So
now we got a few things on here. I'm going to jump to baseball because I know you're chomping at this.
Yeah.
Carl Erskine passed away at 97 years old.
Yes.
And you're going to fill us in. This is your Dodger country.
It is Dodger country. So we're going back to Brooklyn here. Let's take a little trip back to Brooklyn, 1955. The Dodgers.
The year was 1955. Eisenhower was president. Then go for it.
The Dodgers had been playing in Brooklyn for 65, 70 years at that time.
Ebbets Field.
They'd played around, but Ebbets Field is where they were at that time. And they had never won the big one. Yeah. They had won before it became Major League Baseball, and they had a World Series. They'd won a couple of titles, but they'd never won the big one.
And they're always the poor cousin to the Yankees.
To the Yankees, yes.
The team most New Yorkers outside of Manhattan love to hate. So go ahead.
Yeah. So in '55, they ended up going on this pennant run that was phenomenal. It gripped the nation. And they ended up winning. We're talking like Jackie Robinson, first black player to play in a Major League Baseball team. Jackie Robinson's on the team, and Carl Erskine was a pitcher for the team, and he was the last surviving member of that 1955 Dodgers World Championship team. Chargers. Yeah.
Jesus.
Chargers.
Focus.
Football, baseball. So he was the last surviving member of that team. Now, Roger Kahn. Was a junior writer for the New York Times at the time that followed the Dodgers, and he wrote the articles for that World Series run. He then turned around and wrote a book called "The Boys of Summer," and it's from Dylan Thomas' poem. I can't remember the name of the poem, but the line is "The Boys of Summer will ruin," right?
Oh, okay.
Right. So
I don't know poetry. I've tried. I didn't.
So he writes this book, The Boys of Summer, that romanticized that whole playoff run. And then 2 years later, being the first team to threaten to move if they didn't get a stadium, the Dodgers moved to LA.
They did.
Right. And so it followed them with the book follows them with the move and everything. And Erskine went to LA. He played in LA, not very long. didn't like being on the West Coast, wanted to go back to
New York.
Indianapolis actually is where he is from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Jeez.
he went back there and he started an insurance company with his wife, and he had kids and everything. World War II veteran. He was in World War II.
The greatest generation.
Yeah, and then came back from World War II to play baseball, and then but he pitched 2 no-hitters in one season. 2 no-hitters, very hard to do.
Almost impossible.
And he 20 game winner, which was not very common back then. We get more of them now.
Yeah.
Not very common back then.
Actually, you don't get that many more of them now because of analytics. They pull guys before they can. But yeah.
So 97 years old, passed away this week, and thoughts and prayers with the family.
Yeah.
Right. But it got
me. That's a good run.
It got me going down the rabbit hole of when Brooklyn came to LA and the Dodgers and that 1955 series.
Branch Rickey and who in the team? O'Malley?
O'Malley.
Yes.
Walter O'Malley. Walter O'Malley.
So I'm an ex-Montrealer, grew up in Montreal. Jackie Robinson started his pro career. He was playing with the Kansas City Monarchs.
Yes.
In the Negro League. Branch Rickey saw him, convinced the boss, let's sign this guy. They took him to the Montreal Royals, where the Dodger farm team was. And Jackie Robinson's widow will always talks with warmth in her heart. Montreal was a very unique place back then.
Yes.
You did not have Jim Crow and the segregation of Montreal. It had all the other parts of Canada. We're not, but Montreal was a little bit different for whatever reason. And her most vivid memory was that they'd go to Montreal and they had to find a place to live. And there was a black community in Montreal called Little Burgundy, which I don't know if they realized, but they went looking for an apartment. And of course, this French-Canadian lady who was white answers the door, and her face lights up like, "Oh, you're the new baseball player. Bienvenue, come in." And they had a room to rent in their house.
Yeah.
And they welcomed them with open arms, and didn't even realize. And it was the first time in their lives nobody cared that they were black.
Yeah.
And she will talk about Montreal. She's about 100 years, 101 now?
Yeah, 101, yeah.
And she still talks about Montreal, and that moment is the most cherished memory she had of his career in that moment. So it's a very touching moment for me.
Yeah.
It meant a lot to me. And of course, the romanticizing part of that, I always laugh. Because PBS does these documentaries on baseball, and they get the historians. And the Brooklyn Dodgers leaving, and we all cried and boo-hooed. Ebbets Field was a dump. It was a shitty place to watch baseball. It was in a bad neighborhood with a bad stadium, and they're only getting about 12 or 13,000 fans a game, right?
Yeah. So when the original build us a stadium where we're going to leave was O'Malley. He wanted some land in New York, and he wanted them to change it to Title I so he could get it at a cheaper rate. Yeah. And Title I meant that it was something for public use.
Yeah.
Public use, public entertainment, that sort of thing, right? And the person running the show there,
the mayor,
Moses was his name. I don't remember the first name, but the last name was Moses. Was like, no, you got more money than God. You buy that land yourself, right?
And that's the right answer, right?
At the time, after the war, they had all the planes and the national travels were happening more often. It was easier to go from New York to LA, right?
Fly right across. Didn't have to take the train anymore.
Los Angeles had a deficit of sports teams, entertainment type thing. So they were like, look, we want teams to come here. And they'd come out to Washington to talk to Washington about coming out to LA.
Yeah.
And Washington said, no, they went to Minnesota and they became the Twins, right?
Right, okay.
So
eventually my Expos became the Nationals, but anyway, keep going.
O'Malley knew this. LA was there, called him up and said, hey, we'll do it. They're not going to build us a stadium, we'll come there. And Los Angeles was throwing everything at him. They gave him Chavez Ravine. Yeah. If you ever go to California, Los Angeles, go to Chavez Ravine. You don't even have to watch a game. Just stand there and look at the beauty that is around there. You see the Hollywood sign, you've got the mountains of California.
And now there's a bit of a dark history to Chavez Ravine because there was a lot of people who were of Mexican descent living there. And that was their home, and they had to kick them out in order to build a stadium. And there's literally footage of these women clinging to their front doors as people are grabbing them, kicking and screaming out of their homes. It was not well handled at all.
No. But, I mean, when you go back to 1955, a lot of that wasn't well handled.
No,
I think we've grown as a
None of it.
So, I mean, I like to think we're a bit better than that now. History is very dark.
It is. And LA, if people forget, LA back then was not the LA of today.
No.
LA was it was literally fruit orchards with this budding TV and movie industry.
Yes.
And it was not a big dynamic city. It was kind of a backwater. It was a Hickville kind of place. Like California was not that well developed.
Well, it was small. It was small. It wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it was the people that wanted to live on the ocean.
Yeah.
It was the ocean side. So then, so they go to Major League Baseball. Is like, the Dodgers go, we're going to move to LA, and the Major League Baseball goes, you got to convince another team to go with you.
Yeah.
Because you have to build that rivalry over there.
Well, there's no other team.
Kansas City was the closest.
Yeah, it's
right?
not that, and it's not close.
So O'Malley calls his sworn mortal enemy, the owner of the New York Giants.
I mean, the shenanigans.
And they were at the Polo Grounds that were only a step up from Ebbets Field.
Yeah.
And they wanted a new field as well, and they weren't getting any ground. And he said, "Hey, let's head west, young man, and see what's going on out there." So they went to San Francisco. Dodgers went to Los Angeles. The rest is history. You've had one of the best rivalries in baseball.
It really is great. Yeah.
Years.
It's a lot like Wayne Gretzky going to the Kings.
Yes.
They built the sport on the West Coast.
Yes.
Which is kind of remarkable when you think about how popular baseball was back then. But again, California was not the California of today. Like, it was a backwater.
It
right?
was totally, yeah.
Very provincial, very small townish feel. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we'll roll in. We're on baseball. Should go back to my favorite segment. Jays suck.
How bad do the Jays suck?
Honestly, they're not doing too bad.
Not bad at all.
They took 2 out of 3 out of the Yankees.
Yeah.
The first game was a bit of a gimme. The Yankees came in doing back-to-back doubleheader.
Oh, right.
And then had a late, long game the day before, so their bullpen was completely depleted.
Yeah.
But this is Jay's offense, and the offense has been kicking in lately, but they got gifted. They get bases loaded, no outs. Mm-hmm. Here are the 2 runs they score. One is on a bases loaded walk. The other one was on a pass ball. Nobody could get a fly ball or a single to drive in 2 runs. They won the game 3-1 or 4-1, and it just drives me crazy.
Well,
Coming into it, Dalton Varsho was on back-to-back homers.
Yep.
He got a solo shot in one game. He got a grand slam in the next. What did the Jays do? They sit him out, put Kevin Kiermaier in because of the pitching situation and analytics. Do you not think people want to go to a game to see if Dalton Varsho goes 3 in a row on home runs on the $400 million upgrade on Rogers Center? This is how they think. Drives me crazy. Joe Siddall and Jamie Campbell, they don't call the games, but they're the analyst guys.
Yeah.
They even said, what the hell are the Jays doing? Like, they're paid by Rogers Sportsnet, who's owned by the people that own the Jays, and they have to kind of be homers, and even they're turning against this. So,
well, and here's the funny thing:
driving me nuts.
After we recorded the show last week, I went home and I was messing around in the garage, and I saw that the Jays were playing.
Right.
Okay. And I was like, okay, well let's see what this is all about, right? And I turned it on, and they had a young Cuban pitcher. It was his first game out.
Gabriel Rodriguez.
Yeah, and he was phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
Really
doing well.
They had to pull him at 68 pitches. He had a 70 pitch count.
He came in. He's from Cuba, played in Japan, and he pulled his back a bit in spring training.
Yeah.
So he's on the DL, had a rehab assignment, came up, but they got him on a pitch count.
Yeah.
I just want to work him in slowly. He pitched a good 6-7 innings yesterday. They had 70 pitches were the max.
Yeah.
They got to 68 and they pulled him. Yeah.
But if you listen to those announcers, those Blue Jays announcers, they're going to the World Series this year, Tim. They are the best team in baseball.
Oh my God.
I've never heard a couple more delusional people talking in my life.
That's what drives me. It's like they get it from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Every time the Leafs get on, they're going to win the Stanley Cup.
We'll get to that soon. But here's the thing: the Dodgers are leading their division at 12-10. Right. So they've had a rough week. They've only been 4-6 this week. They've lost their last 2. Right. They've had a rough week. The Jays are 11-9.
They're actually doing okay. They had a really good offensively. They did really well yesterday against San Diego.
7-3 in the last 10 games.
Yeah.
So I mean, baseball's a marathon.
It is.
In football we got 18 weeks, 17 games.
Yeah.
Right. And you got every game counts.
Yeah.
In baseball, you can throw a couple away and catch up later.
Right.
Right. So I mean, I think yes, the Jays still suck, but not as bad as we thought.
They suck less.
They suck a little less today.
Okay.
So.
All right, and now I want to give it a quick shout out. And here's what's driving me nuts about Major League Baseball is they've lost their ability to market properly. Andrew McCutchen has played almost his entire career with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes.
A backwater team. He's 37 years old. He just hit a credible milestone for a Major League Baseball player. 300 homers, 200,000 hits, 1,000 RBIs, and 217 stolen bases.
Yeah.
There's only 16 guys in the history of Major League Baseball to hit that pinnacle, and this is the first time I've heard of this guy. And
What?
I did not know about
McCutchen?
McCutchen.
Oh, yeah, but
Didn't know.
okay, so he plays for Pittsburgh, so who haven't had a lot of success as a team, so
No.
you don't hear that name.
No.
You don't hear it too much. But McCutchen, I knew who he was,
Right.
and because he's one of those baseball players that have been consistent for every year that he's played in the league, right? And you always see him up there at the top of the stats,
Yeah.
right?
He'll probably go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So young guy catches a 300 ball,
Little kid.
and he was actually. I think they were saying he was named after McCutchen or something. His name's Andrew, I think, as well. And
Something like that.
favorite player,
McCutchen.
McCutchen was just eating it up. They got to meet. You sent me the video, it was a beautiful thing.
Really, McCutchen's just a full class act. He just got it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of players out there that gets it, and he gets it. And he, met with the kid. The kid handed over the ball, signed the autograph, got his picture taken with his dad, talked to him. It was just a really, really, really well done. Okay.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back to that Ohtani when Shohei, the girl who caught the first pitch.
Shohei the money.
Yeah, the security really muffed things up and all that.
Yeah,
and
they're fired now.
Yeah, I don't think they're working there anymore. But I guess the girl who caught the ball had said, it's my birthday coming up type thing, or they'd gone for her birthday that was coming.
And a lot of things going on.
Yeah, and so Ohtani made sure that she got like prime seats for her birthday, went and met with her, signed a bunch of stuff,
They fixed
made
it.
it right
They
with
made it
her. And there was a picture of her and her husband and Ohtani together, and the smile on her face.
So excited.
She didn't even care that security guard was still not even working there anymore. So.
Okay, so other big news, I think we should go to the WNBA draft.
Okay.
This was a big deal. WNBA, of course, all those players were coming out of the NCAA March Madness tournament. They had the highest ratings, a number of people watching a basketball game for that final game. South Carolina against Iowa with Caitlin Clark and Raven Johnson. Amazing game. It was so exciting. And now they got drafted. The talk after the draft, of course, Caitlin Clark went first.
Yep.
And my girl Angel Reese went 7th. And I got the names written down here because I can't remember all the names. But anyway, the talk quickly switched to the WNBA salaries.
Yes.
Now they're making about 70 to 80 grand a year, which sort of sounds like a lot of money, but it isn't, because they got to pay agents, they got to pay accountants, they need lawyers. So after that 70, 80 grand, there's not much left. Now, to be honest, they're making a lot more money, like 10 times more money in endorsements and that kind of stuff, and NIL. They made more money in NIL in college than they're making their salaries. But people need to realize there's a lot of poo-pooing about it. The WNBA is in its infancy.
Yes.
There's only 16 teams. They haven't had any stars yet.
Yeah.
The next crop of athletes coming out of the NCAA are just superstars, and those salaries are going to be going up, up, and up, and the profile and the number of people in the seats are going to be going up, up, and up.
Yeah.
So they're the pioneers, and they're going to eat it for a bit, but they're going to be making a lot of money pretty soon.
Well, okay, so you see the comparison is that the Caitlin Clark for #1 draft.
Yeah.
Her contract is like $350,000.
Right.
And then the guy picked it for the NBA #1, his
$5
is
million.
55.1 million
Yeah.
over so many years. But it's the revenue that you bring in.
Yeah.
Right. You can't pay.
$55 million when that's like more than the budget for the whole team.
Yeah, or the whole league. So, yeah. Look, I'm going to interrupt here quickly because we just got somebody to step up for an interview here. We got Mr. Greg Fawcett. Now, this is one of my personal favorites here.
The man, the legend.
The legend, Greg Fawcett.
Thanks for inviting me in.
Hey, buddy, how are you? Good to see you. A long time no see.
So Greg and I go way back. We've been long before football. We did fantasy football together for years and years and years.
Before it was cool.
Before we on a spreadsheet, on a book, And then I show up at football here, and who do I see? Greg Fawcett, coach of football. So yeah, but Greg, last year you got a call. Walk us through this. You took a team down to the NFL flag football tournament.
Yeah, in Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah.
Yeah. So walk us through how did it happen? What went on there?
So spring 2022, we found out about the tournament that was going to happen in Vancouver. We got invited to go in to see how we would do. We kind of just we had our team together already. We were fortunate enough to have 2 outstanding girls on our team because it was a co-ed tournament.
Yep.
And so we went in. We dominated the tournament. Did really, really well. Won it. Won it fairly handily, and then got invited to go down to Las Vegas to represent Canada in the open division, or not the open division, sorry, the international division at the NFL Flag Championships in Las Vegas.
Nice.
Very cool.
And how did you do down there?
We did really good. Day one, we played against Japan, China, and the UK, and Germany, and won all 4 of those games. Made lots of good friends, met some amazing other people while we were doing it, represented Canada really well, and then carried on to the next day, and they decided that they didn't want Canada to, because Canada, we had 3 teams representing. We had a team from Montreal, a team from Regina, and a team from us from Vancouver, and they decided that they didn't want to have a Canada versus Canada final, so they made us, instead they changed up the plan, made us play off against each other, which was totally fine. Yeah. So Canada had to advance as one team, so we had a Canada little mini round robin in the morning, and we ended up losing in overtime to the eventual tournament champion.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Montreal or?
Montreal.
Montreal, yeah. Okay.
By Bill Provence. So I'm curious, how did that experience going down to Vegas help you as a coach, and what are you bringing to this season from that experience?
Well, it was incredible to see how the NFL machine runs as far as organization and how they run a tournament. It is second to none. They keep you going. They're just, all parts are moving, everyone's going all the time. So I learned a lot on administrative side and how things should run that way. Coaching wise, the level and the intensity that people play at is much higher than we currently are.
Yeah.
But you'll see even now the sevens that are playing behind us and stuff, you see the intensity's turning up there. That's a big upkick from the from 5-on-5, and the same is sort of carrying on to that. That's what the 5s look like down there for NFL flag. Very, very high end on the American side. The international side, the teams are learning it. I mean, there's very, very good international teams, but they don't have that level of intensity. But we didn't bring that. We went down there more as an ambassadors. We saw when we were playing the international teams, and did lots of helping them along and showing them things, and lots of good friendships were made there. I was so proud of our team and how they represented Canada and how they represented the Chilliwack Giants. We were actually awarded at one point, one of our players got pulled aside by the referee and was rewarded as sort of the player of the day.
Wow.
For how well she was representing herself out there. That was Kenna Friesen. So that was just a pretty huge honor that she got to do in front of everyone and win this big award from the referees. So they got together and chose her as the most, generous player of the day sort of thing. So what a great honor that was. And she was also an outstanding football player.
Yeah.
So
nice. Yeah. Very cool.
Now I remember back pre-COVID, we did the CFL NFL flag tournament out at Mowat, and I think you were a part of that too.
My older boy was a part of that.
Yeah, your older boy was a part of that too, and it's funny how you talk about the organization and everything. I had a call like 2 weeks beforehand saying we need to put this tournament on here, and I'm calling teams, right? We were able to get Mowat Field. It was a monsoon, right? And North Surrey ended up beating, I think, the Abbotsford team by a point to go to Winnipeg and play and whatnot. So, but it's grown from that to now the NFL cut the CFL out of it because of their disorganization.
NFL, I'll tell you a story. I read Bruce Springsteen's novel, and Bruce Springsteen, of course, being a multi-mega rock star, toured the world as whatever. So he does the NFL halftime show for the Super Bowl, Super halftime show, and he was like, these guys that tore down that set it up, tore it down inside the half hour or whatever it is that they had. He's like nothing I've ever seen before. It was unreal. Like they came in, stage up, get on, play, sing, get off, stage off. He's like, what just happened? It's like this vapor trail. Is there, like, yeah. So they know how to boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's what our 4 or 5 days down there felt like.
Yeah.
They had us booked from about 6:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. We were just dialed right in, and because we were in the international division, we were being toured all over Las Vegas and being shown all sorts of stuff. They were absolutely amazing hosts.
All right.
It was a very outstanding experience for
Nice.
Very cool. Very
Now,
cool.
coolest person you talked to down there?
Probably Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well,
Kirk
there was
Cousins.
quite a few, but yeah, the Kirk Cousins one was quite funny. The story with Kirk was we'd just played Great Britain. We were pretty flat. I was giving a sort of typical coach's sort of speech on the sideline, and I'm like, hey guys, we got to pick it up a little bit, doing one of this. And then
You're
all of a
from
sudden,
England.
I felt a tap on my shoulder. Coach, can I talk to your kids for a second? And I'm like, oh, seriously? And I turned around, I was like, whoa. And he goes, hi, my name's Kirk. And I go, yeah, it sure is, isn't it? And he talked to the kids for 10 minutes and was super generous with his time and went through that. And then I'll always be a Kirk Cousins fan. At the end of it, one of our players, Colin Boyd, said, Mr. Cousins, would you sign something for me? And he said, oh, of course. And he went to his bag and pulled out a Kirk Cousins jersey. We had no idea Kirk Cousins was going to be there.
Really?
And Lincoln was carrying his Kirk Cousins jersey, and Kirk just about broke down. He was like, you're bringing my jersey here? You carry my jersey? He turned into that 12-year-old kid who was so appreciative of the fans.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kirk Cousins will forever be a
Awesome.
hero of mine. It was so incredible to see that.
Nice. Right on.
All right.
Right on. Well, thanks for coming out.
Hey, thanks for
sitting
having
down
me,
with us
guys.
for a
Good
bit.
luck this season, man. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care,
Cheers,
guys.
buddy. Thank you very
and
much.
I'm not wishing you good luck in fantasy football. Did you win last year? Did you guys?
Second.
All
Silver
right.
medal. Okay. We're on football. Quick note, Pete Carroll, former Seahawks coach, is now helping out
At Washington Huskies.
UW Huskies, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Not much to report, but he's working with the offense and that kind of stuff. And
Well, the Huskies were in the national game this year.
yeah,
So they got a good program. They got a good program, and one of the things that good programs do is they bring in people that have been there before, and that can pass on that wisdom, that knowledge, that experience. Pete Carroll's been there.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll's been there on both the NCAA stage, the NFL stage. He's been there.
Yeah.
So having him talk to your players, and the funny thing is, he didn't talk. He got a competition going with these guys, right?
73 years old. He's no way he's slowing down.
Yeah, not at all.
No, it's amazing. It's an amazing guy. All right, we're going to bring in Richelle Keddy.
Richelle Keddy.
I want to give a quick note. We do Friday Night Lights, and Greg and Rochelle's husband, Joel, coached and Adam and Pee Wee. And I tell you, every time their teams hit Friday Night Lights, no matter who they're playing, it was always a great game.
Yeah, 100%.
Just rubber matches. They were so exciting
100%.
to call. So Rochelle's going to come in, and we're just going to talk to Richelle. She's a long time with the Giants, ran the cheer program for a bit, so she's coming in just 1 minute. My girl, Richelle Keddy, how are you, sweetheart?
I am well. How are you?
I'm very, very good. You know Matt Macri?
I do, yes.
Yeah, we've met many times.
Many times. I have asked money from him many times.
Money, make it rain. Make it rain. So, you're, of course, a longtime board member of the Chilliwack Giants.
Yeah.
And how are you involved today in this amazing event?
I am the go-between between all 4 fields that we got going on right now.
So,
driving the golf cart, most important part.
There you go, the fun part, too.
The fun part.
So talk to me logistically, how tough is it to coordinate all this to get all this running smoothly?
It is quite difficult. It's volunteers. Volunteers are huge for the organization. They what help us run. We're all volunteers. So as a, like you said, longtime volunteer, I can attest to that. It's parents stepping up. Parents help us immensely. The board members help us immensely. Yeah, it's a fine. Yeah, it's tough sometimes, but it's good.
It's good. It's good. Now, you were cheer coordinator for a long time.
Yeah.
And now, are you still doing that?
Nope. I have stepped down from that. I have stepped into the VP position.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, cheer, I mean, any updates on cheer? How's the cheer squad looking this year? Is it still pretty healthy?
Last year was fantastic. It was when I first joined, we had 40 girls joined.
Okay.
Last year, I think we had 36 joined, and we ended with about 30, I want to say.
That's fair enough. That's still a healthy amount.
It was a good squad, yeah.
Now, are you guys taking cheer to it? Because it used to be, if you want to do the pyramids and that, it's all sorts of insurance and training and stuff. Yeah. Have you guys taken it to a bit of a different level this year, or is it still
Last year
just
they
more...
did a bit of stunting.
Yeah.
When they do the throwing up, that's a whole different, that's more competitive than what we wanted to get into. So we just did the basic, like little pyramids and stuff like that. We didn't do anything too involved.
I mean, I think the focus on cheer, correct me if I'm wrong, is just, the boys are playing a lot of football and the sisters are running around kind of bored, and you just get them involved. And
Yeah,
it's sort of
absolutely, because the parents are here, and that's honestly how we got involved. Our daughter started cheer, and then our son was at the field, and he's like, I want to do that. Okay. So then the next year, he joined flag, and he's now in it to win it. So.
In it to win it. And he won provincials last year.
Yeah.
Junior bantam.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, is he going to high school this year, or was that his
GW, yeah.
GW, all
Yeah.
right. The high school ranks.
High school, yeah. This is what he's been looking forward to for the last 6 years. So.
And this is the evolution of football in Chilliwack. When I first started, this is about, got to be close to 10 years ago. Benny was 18, so yeah, it'd be good 10 years ago. GW had just started, and there was a lot of animosity, and the initials GW was a 4-letter word around here, and now it's evolved, and it's almost like a partnership, and it's actually nice to see.
Totally.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you want a community program to grow and you want a high school program to grow, they got to work hand in hand.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of growth in youth sports if you're not working together.
Yeah.
And as a longtime, coach on the visitor bench, I've always been impressed with your guys' flag program. That's what I associate you with. It's a flag program. And then fundraising as well. You're always shaking me down when I'm on the sideline.
Always shaking you down.
Yeah. Friday Night Lights. Yeah, I've always been impressed. Even on the rainy, horrible nights, the girls are out there with their clear trash bags over top of them and still cheering. So,
because if the boys play, the girls cheer. That's always been the motto.
That's
so.
it. All right. And a lot of girls play too.
A lot of girls are playing more football.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flag.
Taylor factor?
She's not playing spring flag. No.
No, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift.
I know.
Travis
what you're
gets
talking
smarty pants.
I think the growth of girls in flag football predates Taylor by years.
Totally,
because
totally.
we have, just over here on the sideline, we have Nick Shanks. He's one of the coaches for the Abbotsford Falcons. He took a group of the girls for the nationals, U16 nationals, years back, right? And the growth of the girls in the sport has just been huge.
It is,
especially here in Canada.
Even in tackle.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I mean, we've seen some girls come up through the system. Kenna being one of them that was just, phenomenal football player. So.
Absolutely superb. We're going to wrap up. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Did you get tickets to see Taylor? Did you get on the list there?
No. I would much rather watch her on Netflix.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Disney. Barb tried to get tickets. We couldn't. We didn't get the code thingy, so we didn't get to go.
I did see you watch her last concert on Netflix.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I saw that. The Miss Americana thingy.
Renaissance. Yes, and I saw her.
That was good.
That was very good. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Derek.
you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank
All the
you.
best. Okay, Richelle, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate that. Now, next coach coming in, Ian Parks, a big part of the fabric of Chilliwack Giants, so we're going to bring Ian in right now. All right, here we are. Ian Parks, longtime coach, executive, very much part of the fabric of Chilliwack Giant football. Ian, thank you for joining us on Off Topic, where we always go.
My pleasure.
Off Topic.
How you been?
Excellent. Enjoying football, enjoying the weather. Chilliwack always puts on a great show here. I'm glad to be a part of it. And we're running sevens today. It's week 2 of the spring season. Having lots of fun.
Nice. And you're coaching today.
I am, yes.
How's your team doing?
1-1 this morning. So we're having fun. We're learning lots. It's a development for football in general, right? So that's why we're out here.
That's cool.
And here's a better person to ask about what is 7-on-7. Can you explain it to Tim for us?
Yeah. So 7-on-7 is it's actually born out of the States, where there's very, very successful down there, and it's essentially linebackers and DBs versus running backs and receivers, just working on offensive and defensive systems for your tackle football team that you're going to have. And so it's the average proper size field, although you're only using half. It's a little bit different than the 5-on-5 game, which is awesome at the U8, U10, U12, U14, U16 levels. They start to a small field. I know that's going to go to the Olympics, and it's going to be awesome, 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Back 15 years ago when we started the 5-on-5, this Wayne Bjorgi visionary brought me on board to say, hey, how can we start a 5-on-5 league? And I helped him. I was the doer. He was the brains behind the operation. And now I thought, hey, let's do 7s as well. And let's just get hundreds and hundreds of people playing football.
It's amazing. There's actually, we said this there a couple of interviews ago. over 100 extra kids at Flag this year, and it's watching it grow like this. It's just amazing because we came out of COVID and things were looking pretty shaky that first year out of COVID, and it's so nice to see this huge bounce back and the health of the sport. It's really special.
Absolutely.
Now your sons, I want to give you a little bit of shameless plug on your kids. Aiden's your oldest. Is he still with the Huskers?
I played with the Huskers last year. He's unsure about university / school. He might be done his football career. He might be going into, focusing a little more on employment and work.
Okay.
I'll support him in anything he does. He loves the game of football still, obviously. So
there's lots of things you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then your next one up, Chris is your eldest.
Yes.
She's I love her. She's great.
Yeah.
And your next son he's playing Graham, and his last year is he going into university? I can't remember.
He's going to university, not to play football, but he's going on to bigger and better things as far as that goes. But he just walked out of BC high school football with a community scholarship as well. And you got him out here helping organize and train some of the referees out here. So
next generation of Parks helping out. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
They've grown up in the field. I know nothing else on a Saturday. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And then Ryland's playing right now, and he's busy throwing touchdowns. At least I hope he's throwing touchdowns right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Very
that's
cool.
Ryland's your youngest, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So-
Very cool. Well, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Brilliant day, and good luck on the afternoon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Take care, Ian.
Cheers,
bye.
Ian. Thanks so much. We got a few minutes left. NHL playoffs.
Start this week. Yeah.
My team was out around September, so it's not really that important to me, but you go ahead.
Well, yeah, the Canucks, which is a big around here, they finished first in the Pacific Division.
Yes.
So they got
gotta
a
keep that
matchup against
momentum.
Nashville. They start tomorrow, I think.
I think so. Like I
Yeah.
said, my team has been out for
Yeah.
a very long time. So
I think the games start tonight. Canucks, this weekend
it
sometime.
is. And of
So-
course, Arizona is now the Salt Lake City,
the Utah
Coyotes.
Yeah.
And all 1,200 fans in Arizona are really broken up about it. What
Well,
a
you know
dumpster
who's
fire.
not happy about it is the opposing team fans. Because a lot of places, including Vancouver,
Yeah.
it would be cheaper to fly to Arizona,
It is, yeah.
rent a B&B for the weekend, and go watch the Canucks play Arizona there than it would be to go to Vancouver.
6,000-seat arena that they were playing at.
Yeah.
It was just a nightmare. And they
So-
NHL expansion and stuff. It just.
Well, and what you see now, and it's changing a lot, is that the teams may have been watered down, as people say, with expansion and
Yeah.
whatnot. But the parity is a lot more prevalent.
Yeah.
So
No dynasties anymore.
so and
It kind of sucks.
here's the $1 million question. The Toronto Maple Leafs they finished. They're in the playoffs this year.
I'm laughing on purpose.
Last year they found out there was a round 2, so maybe this year.
They got lucky. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I read a stat somewhere that they have never played in the third round of the NHL playoffs. The last time that they made it, it went first round, second round, Stanley Cup.
That's right.
There
They
was
played
no third
Montreal.
round.
They played in '70. They played Montreal. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no third round.
Yeah.
So this year,
No, they have been to I swear to God, they've been to a conference final in the early 2000s. They went up against the Islanders, and there were some pretty good rivalries there. I swear to God, they get.
it was a conference final. It was the one before that.
second round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Fair
second
enough.
round.
Yeah.
Second round. So they've been to the second round. They have never played, and I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll Google this later. We don't have
figure it
Wi-Fi here, but I'll Google this later. But I read this online, and you can believe everything you read on the internet, Tim.
Certainly. Abraham Lincoln, 1865.
Never been to the third round of the Stanley.
I had to live in
playoffs.
Toronto for 12 years and listen to guys talk about Wendell Clark weeks after they're eliminated and they didn't even make it to the playoffs. It's just the Leafs fans are just the bane of my existence. They just live in a fantasy world. Drives me nuts.
Like you got,
And they
you
got
like
the
the
Bruins.
commitment.
They got the Bruins in the first round.
Oh, I know that's going to be tough.
It's going to be fun.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I just laugh.
Yeah.
I just laugh. My Montreal Canadiens, I thought they were going to do a little bit better this season. They're probably going to get the 5th overall pick. The only drama there is they don't need any more defensemen. So if they can get the one other forward, they'll probably go with that. Otherwise, they'll trade the pick and get the forwards, and we'll see how it plays out.
Well, it was exciting for me on Thursday because the Kings were down. They were in the wild card spot.
Okay.
So they were 4th in the Pacific. Vegas was 3rd
Okay.
by a point, and they both played Thursday night. So if the Kings won and got a point, they had the tie break. They'd move into
Yeah.
the 3rd spot. If they lost, they'd be in the 4th spot, right?
Right.
Vegas, if they won, they would have the 3rd because it was only a point, right? It turns out, they play the games. Vegas loses. The Kings are up 3-1. Right, and I'm doing something else. I come back and it's 4-3 for Chicago. They were playing, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, 5 minutes left in the game. So I'm like, I'm gonna watch this last 5 minutes. They pull their goaltender. Chicago shoots the puck over the boards, right? So they get a penalty. So it's 6 on, like 20 seconds left in the game. They score, tie it up. I'm like, oh, okay. So they get their point. So now they move up. So they're 3rd, right? I'm like, this is exciting. 6 seconds into overtime. Kings win, right? The guy just off the face-off, skates down the side, puts it over the goalie's shoulder, done. Game over. I said, you couldn't have done that? We didn't have to go through the commercials in between here and overtime? Jeez. But now, it turns out the Kings, on the 3rd spot, are playing Edmonton for the 3rd year in a row. So they lost the last 2. So I'm saying 3rd time's the charm. The Kings are going to go past the Edmonton Oilers this year. That's my prediction.
Right. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in. Next week, we have a camping outage because you're camping, so we're not going to have a show.
It's the season.
And then we're coming back for Star Wars Day. We will not have a Star Wars theme because I read Lord of the Rings, which is a book. That's why. Okay, I'm not a Star Wars.
I did both.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. Whatever.
If you want to comments, questions, you want us to come out and see your sport, talk to you guys about anything, OT with Tim and Matt at outlook.com is our email address. Hit us up in the comments of our VBN Sports YouTube page and on our Facebook page.
Thanks for tuning in. Off Topic with Tim and Matt.